Hey guys, what is going on? So we're finally testing out the new remastered graphics with the new update, and from the start I think there's some good, some bad, but mostly good. So that's the good news. And we're going to be trying out, as you see on the screen here, we're running the performance 30 FPS. So that's what my device is on right now, and you cannot run the 60 FPS yet because Pixonic just hasn't made it available. We're going to go through all the maps and the changes and comparisons on some. So this is POWERPLANT. This is the map I'm most happy with. I think POWERPLANT looks awesome. I think they really did a good job and really took their time with this map, because just the shadows, the detail, the textures, everything about it, the lighting. And you see on the right side is the old POWERPLANT before the update, and you can see that detail is just not there. It's a huge difference, and I'm kudos to Pixonic, because I think this is one of the best looking maps in the game right now, if not the best. And you can see the huge changes in contrast, like the lighting with the new POWERPLANT seems to be a lot more extreme, but in a good way. And now we're just speeding up, so we're gonna go back here, and there's grasslands back here. Just the textures of the ground look good, and even the way the robots fire weapons, like the cryo weapons and how you take damage, it all looks different. So this is the coolest part about the map. So this used to be the beach, but now it's like the water in the beach. Does that make sense? I think this is pretty cool. So now you're literally in water where this sunken ship is, and they haven't added any like splashing visuals when you're moving or anything like that, but maybe that'll come in the future, who knows. But I'm pretty happy with POWERPLANT. So now we're on to Valley map, and this is another really changed map. I didn't even recognize Valley map when I dropped in on this game. At first I was like, is this what map is this? And then I realized, I was like, oh, it's the same map, it's just they dramatically changed so much of it. So coming up this right side, this used to be like a ramp, but now they added all these different textures, and just like the barriers and the graphics around the map, they even changed, so it's just looks very different. So now we have this right side comparison where we were playing before the update, and you can see I didn't think Valley was a bad looking map. It was still relatively new, maybe was it 2 years old, but this is another map where I think Sonic really improved the visuals and the graphics, and I would rate this, I'd rate POWERPLANT probably 9.5, and this is like 9. And the coolest part about this map as well, you see all the water that is on the ground and the puddles and stuff like that. That looks pretty cool. But you'll also notice the Bulgasari, just looking at the back of it, it looks very different from when it used to in the game, just because of the lighting like of the actual robots. So here's Moon Map. Of course it's Moon Map, the color on it, the darkness, the nighttime moon. I think it's pretty cool. We saw it a while ago on the test server, but now we're finally getting to see it in a real game. And here's the right side comparison, a big difference. And even just underneath this structure, it looks almost like, you know, a different game almost, as opposed to the old visuals where, you know, not a lot of different lighting or shadows in the game. And remember, this is only 30 FPS section, so this is probably the most common setting in the game, or it will be even when the new ones release, because not everyone's going to be running those 60 FPS high performance settings. So what you see right now is likely what most people or most players will have. So next we have Canyon map, and I just dropped in on a custom game here, and Canyon is the third map that I think looks very different and very good. So right side, it looks like a completely different map. The right side, it looks like just that cheap orangey look to the map, while the left side you have all different kinds of textures and the shadows, and it looks a lot more realistic. And I'm very happy that they did that. All these changes, of course, they took a very long time, but in the long run, it'll probably be worth it. As most games are, as Pixonic kind of adjust the game to suit newer devices, I think this was probably a good move. But here are some of the things that, I don't think are huge changes. So this is carrier map, and this, right now we're looking at the new carrier map, and on the right side is the old carrier map. So just look at it slowly, and, like, I don't know. Does it really look that much better? I think it does. Like, the details on the robot look better maybe, but I also think, that sunrise in the background on carrier, I think they tried to emphasize that a little bit too much, because now the map's like orange, while the old one it's kind of more neutral. So I think they could have added maybe some of those details, but then not gone so extreme with the lighting. And under the bridge, if you go under the bridge on carrier, it's so dark that you almost can't see. That might be a little bit extreme. They could have just made it, more of a shadow. But I did like the old carrier map lighting, so, it's just one of those things that we'll have to live with. And you can probably recognize which map this is. Not huge changes. This is Springfield. I actually thought there was a chance Pixonic was going to fill this whole valley in the middle of Springfield with water, because I saw pictures or leaked photos a while ago with that, but I guess they decided not to. So instead they just kind of fixed the textures on the ground and changed the sky a bit, so there's more clouds, and I guess it just looks a little bit more realistic. But on a side note, I'm running the Rhino right now, obviously, but the mechanics of the Rhino and the look, I think, are very different. As with every robot looks a bit different, but I think the Rhino especially, the skin looks very different, and certain weapons like these cryo weapons, the shooting visual design looks different. And lastly, we have castle map. So just a side note, Yamantau and factory map are not included in this update, because I guess Pixonic is still working on them. As factory map's pretty new map, so I assume they're working on that last. And then Yamantau is probably just, not many people like that map, but I'm sure they're working on to improve it. And it is pretty large map, so it does take more time. But this is castle. I can't really notice any huge differences. It looks like just more of a contrast difference, and the robot shadow carries over, but nothing huge. You can still very much recognize this map. And yeah, so even just looking at all the other effects, or the visual effects of the weapons, I do like most of them. And when you can dash with the robot or jump, and they have those rocket jet fuel flames coming out the back, I think that looks pretty cool. So that is another good job by Pixonic. And lastly, Dead City. Honestly, I couldn't even tell you what's very different on Dead City. I think it's just the shadows a little bit, but it's very similar to what it used to be, which is probably a good thing, because I always liked Dead City and never really thought there was a huge difference. But I think, when was it? Maybe a year or two ago, Dead City was already improved. There was the old Dead City, which was like the sunny one, then they switched it, so I think it didn't need much changing it anyways. And then lastly, SHENZHEN map. So nothing, significant or mind-blowing. Maybe just the shadows, like you can tell by the shadows beside this building on the left, are more extreme, and the contrast is bigger. But with the graphics themselves, nothing crazy, which is fine. I'm sure no one's going to complain about it, but that's just about it. So, and notice even how the leech, when you're using its ability, those effects, those visual effects are different. So everything is changed a little bit, whether it's a lot or a little bit. All the firing effects of the weapons, the robot abilities, just about everything has changed. Even the drones themselves look a bit different. So what do you guys think about the update? I like most things about it, which is, really what counts, because
this isn't going to change. You know, I don't think anyone's going to be outraged about the graphics. I know there are a lot of bugs, so that actually might be an issue. So hopefully Pixonic fixes those. But thanks for watching the video, guys, and let me know what you guys think about the new update in the comments. And until next time, peace.